Hey everyone, this is part one of a two-part news episode. So if you're looking for part two, just go back to your feed and you should see it there shortly or already. And on this part, I'm going to be covering Summer House, lots of Summer House news, definitely Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and a little bit of Orange County news at the end. And then all the other shows are going to be on my next part. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and please share the podcast with a friend. And if you're interested in ad-free episodes, head to patreon.com/Bravo and Botox. Enjoy today's episode. Welcome to the Bravo Papers, a safe space for all us Bravo fans who love to analyze, deconstruct, and talk about our favorite Bravo shows ad nauseum. So join me, Bravo and Botox, and we'll catch up on all the Bravo news and read way too much into our favorite shows and Bravo celebrities. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Bravo Papers, Bravo Weekly News, here with your host, Emily, also known as Bravo and Botox. And I want to thank all of you out there who've been following me from the start. I can't believe, but I hit 100,000 followers on Instagram the other day, which is crazy. That being said, I still make $0 off this Instagram account. I don't know how people make money off Instagram. I really just don't know how they do it. I guess ask Ashley I from Real Housewives of Rhode Island. Maybe she knows. I'm sure you have to be like influencing and selling products and doing and getting sponsorships and that kind of thing. I don't really do that, obviously, so it's my own fault. Clearly, I guess I could be doing that, but I don't. Anyways, nobody wants a meme account to like be doing sponsorships, I guess. Anyways, it's very exciting to have all this support, and a lot of you who are here found me through my Instagram account. So welcome. And new listeners, welcome also, because I know I may have some new listeners because of all the Summer House drama and other stuff like that. So I hope you are enjoying the pod. And what was the other thing I was going to say? That was before I got into the news. I think that was the only thing I was going to say. Okay, that was it. Okay. So we should start with Summer House, because there is so much news. And, I was all like anxious because I was like, oh, am I covering all the other news enough? And then I'm like looking at my analytics for the podcast, and like every episode that is like Summer House focused is by far the highest downloads. And, that being said, I'm still going to cover the other shows, of course. So including today. So yeah, so don't worry about that. But we should start with Summer House because since when I left off with you guys last, I think it was around the time of the audio leak and then Bravo making a statement about the investigation. And since then, there's been two additional leaks. I even remember reading that there was a fourth at some point, but I have not like seen that or heard that fourth one or anything. So I'm just going to kind of go with that as just being a rumor for the time being, because I haven't actually heard that or seen that on Reddit. I have heard all three of them. My apologies to Andy Cohen, but listen, I got to put myself first. And, I think that, listen, if you are an account and you get an audio leak, or you're some person and you get an audio leak, you got to share that. It's just, listen, I don't know. Bravo is not going to be there for you, because you like did the right thing. I don't know. Okay. So I'm just trying to like wrap my head around some of the like moral high ground that some of these accounts are like standing on online. Like, listen, I get that people are like, oh, it's not ethical and blah, blah, blah. But listen, Bravo puts out this statement and they're like, an investigation into the recent leak of the Summer House reunion audio has concluded that the audio was an unauthorized recording and distributed by an individual involved in the production of the reunion. Okay, so some production assistant probably, or some like low down person who's getting paid Probably not a lot. And they were like, fuck these people. Okay. As a result of the findings, appropriate action has been taken. So they've been fired probably. Maybe it was like an intern, like I guarantee you I could see it being an unpaid intern. Okay. And they were like, whatever. There's no evidence that any member of the cast was involved in the recording of the audio. We will take these matters seriously and will continue to take appropriate measures to respond to the unauthorized distribution of our content. We are aware that there is additional improperly obtained audio circulating, and we caution all parties and platforms to refrain from posting, sharing, or amplifying any unauthorized audio. Okay. And then Andy reveals that a fan account cracked, quote unquote, cracked the case about the leak, and that we're going to be hearing more about them soon. And then there's like this rumor started where Bravo and Cocktails was saying Jennifer Lawrence was the fan who cracked the case. I don't know. This shit is getting out of control. Okay. So, and I'm just like filtering kind of the information here. Like, what are we believing? What are we not? I'm not believing this Jennifer Lawrence thing, but it's hilarious. Like, I enjoy the idea of it. But listen, I don't know who this account is that like cracked the case and told Andy, but it's like, I don't know. I guess we have, a narc among us. I don't know what else to say. Like, why'd you have to go and tell on someone? But whatever. Here's the thing. Whoever cracked the case, like, good for you for being a sleuth, whatever. And congratulations, Andy's going to shout you out. Cool. But, nothing's going to happen. Like, they're not going to do anything for you. Like, they're not going to like have you on the show or give you money or mention you or help your following or career in any way. Like, Andy doesn't give a shit. Like, I'm sorry. Like, yes, these leaks were a pain in their ass, of course, but it's not going to impact their bottom line. It's not going to impact people watching the reunion. I guarantee you that. The only thing, the literal only thing it's going to impact is, sorry, I'm like, my train of thought is messed up today. The only thing it's going to impact is Amanda's edit. And that's why they're annoyed. So whoever recorded these, in my opinion, was like, they're going to give Amanda they're going to edit it so she doesn't look as bad because of In the City coming, and they know she's on it, and that whole show, they don't want it to tank. And she's like a primary cast member. So they were going to, Bravo has its people, like it's people who've been on from the start, and they do protect them to a certain degree. And I do think that they were going to protect her a little bit. And just like they tried to do with Tom Sandoval, right? And, these leaks coming out, to me, again, I stand by it that I had nothing to do with it. And no, I didn't share them because I just didn't want to get like some like cease and desist legal shit. I don't want to get involved in that. And like, anyone can go find them, like, if you really want to. They're hard to find now because they've been taken down. So no, I didn't share them. And no, I wouldn't go to a reunion and record something and leak it or whatever. It's not something that I would personally do. Would I do it? No. If someone sent it to me, would I listen to it? Abso-fucking-lutely. Okay. Do I blame someone who got a hold of it and then put it on Reddit? No, I don't blame them or think they're like a bad person. In fact, I think they did a service to Sierra because they're really showing, like, there's all these like Amanda defenders out there. And I think they're really being like, no, this is who she is. She's an asshole. She's always been an asshole. And this is the other thing that's pissing me off a lot on the internet while I'm ranting right now. It's like, all these people who are like, oh, they really hid this Amanda from us and they really like covered for her and gave her this edit. And no, they didn't actually. She's been, maybe to a degree they did, but she's been an asshole on this show for 10 years. Everybody just didn't want to see it because she's pretty and because she's friends with Paige and like that was, people just made excuses left, right, and center for her. And really the other big reason was because they just didn't like Lindsay. So if you don't like Lindsay, you will excuse and find reasons to make Amanda right and, virtuous in every situation, which she wasn't. That's why it's so easy for people to go back and do rewatches now and pull all these examples of Amanda being an asshole, but they were right there the whole time. Okay. I was seeing them, that's for sure. And I was trying to tell you guys. And to your credit, you know, I think a lot of the people who listen to my podcast are on the same page as me. Like, I think we're, you know, we have a similar, we don't have every opinion identical, but I think we have a similar kind of mindset. And I think a lot of the people who listen to the show, you know, watch the shows critically and can see a lot of these things that are right in front of them, quite frankly. Okay. So yeah, so that's why I'm kind of like, okay, congratulations to whatever, you know, account, and you'll give them a shout out one time and that'll be it. Listen, Bravo's not going to be there for us, for anyone. They don't care. Okay. It's like, here's like, I saw this other account. I don't know if I should say who it is. Okay. I saw the guy from Mention It All podcast. Okay. Dylan, who seems like a really nice guy. I used to listen to that podcast, but to be honest, you know, I stopped because, you know, Betches is like a huge media company, right? So they have to be careful about what they say and things like that. So to me, like, I just like listening to that podcast, I didn't have as much fun listening to it because the hosts, like, they can't be unedited in their takes. Like, they have to be a bit edited, a bit careful. They have people from these shows on as guests all the time. You know, so that's why, like, I enjoy a podcast more like Watch What Crappens, you know, because even though they do meet a lot of Bravo Lebs and they do have them on their shows and they're even friends with some of them, they still give their true opinions and they still call them out. Right. And like, one of the things they always joke about is like, oh God, they hate when they like meet someone who they've been kind of mean to or whatever. Right. You know, and I appreciate that. But like, you know, when it's from somebody who's like on like who's part of a huge media company, like, you just can't, you don't have as much freedom. So like, I don't blame him for not having, you know, kind of those unedited opinions. But what I will say is that, like, he put out a tweet being like, oh, and then you guys, you know, you guys wonder, like, you know, he's talking to other, like, I guess, like Bravo accounts or podcasters. He's like, you guys wonder why you don't get invited to events and things like that, like Bravo events or whatever. And I'm like, anyways, whatever. I just heard that and I'm like, well, to be fair, like, you get invited because you're employed by a huge media company so of course you get invited. Like, you don't get invited necessarily because you have the best podcast. And again, I'm not saying the podcast is bad. It's a good podcast. But like, let's not pretend that you get invited because you don't oh, I don't leak things. Like, and again, I don't think like accounts like anonymous Bravo accounts like Bravo and Cocktails and ones like that are trying to get invited to those. I just don't think that they are. like, like, I know there are some podcasts, I guess, and like bigger accounts who show their faces and who do want to get invited to stuff like that. And maybe they're playing their cards wrong. Maybe that's who he's talking to. So fine. But I just found that comment to be so like, I don't know. I'm just like, you know, you have this huge thing behind you. Of course, you're going to be going to all the events and doing media and stuff like that. Like, you just like, shut up. Like, I don't know. I just found that annoying. And again, like, no shade to him, like, personally. I just think that's an annoying comment to make. Okay. I'm really off the rails today, guys. Okay. This is like a perimenopause woman who's in a mood. That's so, please forgive anything I say if it sounds mean. I don't mean it to be. I'm just saying, like, these are the things that I keep seeing online about these leaks. And, you know, I have lots of thoughts. I got to get them off my chest. Okay. As I've been getting older, I've become more and more intentional about what I wear day to day, leaning into pieces that feel effortless, comfortable, and still put together. It just makes getting dressed way easier. And Quince has been my go-to. The fabrics feel elevated, the fits are flattering, and everything just works without overthinking it. Quince makes it easy to refresh your everyday this spring with pieces that feel as good as they look. They use premium materials like 100% European linen, organic cotton, and ultra soft denim. Speaking of denim, I recently got a pair of their Bella Stretch Relax straight jeans and I'm obsessed. They are the most comfortable jeans I've ever owned. They're still like structured and supportive, but so comfy. I have jeans that are literally double the price and not as comfortable or high quality as the ones from Quince. And because of the price, I am definitely going back and buying them in more colors, like ASAP. So refresh your everyday with luxury you'll actually use. Head to quince.com/Bravo Papers for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/Bravo Papers for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Bravo Papers. Despite my online handle being Bravo and Botox, I've actually never had Botox. And not that I'm against it, but for now, I'm putting it off and I'm trying to just really focus on high quality skincare. I'm 42 now, and I definitely notice more fine lines and loss of firmness in my skin specifically. So I can't just buy any skincare anymore. I need something to specifically address those issues. And that's what OneSkin's OS1 peptide has done for me. I've been using their OS1 moisturizer and my life has changed. The feel, the texture, the glow of my skin, honestly, it's really improved. And unlike other moisturizers, it doesn't make my skin too greasy or too dry, which has always been an issue for me because I have combination skin. And my favorite thing about OneSkin is that it was founded by a team of female scientists with PhDs, women supporting women. And the skincare is backed by rigorous science and research. You can even read about the team and their story on their website. Born from over a decade of longevity research, OneSkin's OS1 peptide is proven to target the visible signs of aging, helping you unlock your healthiest skin now and as you age. For a limited time, try OneSkin with 15% off using code BRAVOPAPERS at oneskin.co/BravoPapers. That's 15% off oneskin.co with code BRAVOPAPERS. After you purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. And I'm not going to go through like the whole script of all the leaks like I did last time because frankly I just don't have time for it. But one thing I will talk about is that Amanda makes this joke in one of them about like, oh, Chat GPT wrote our statement. And then she's like, I'm kidding. And it's like, okay, girl, you're not in the place to be even making jokes in the first place. But yeah, so then TMZ was like reporting on it. And then it's just like her attitude in these leaks is so infuriating. And if you haven't heard them, I'll just give you an overview. She is spitting vitriol towards Sierra. Her tone of oh, sorry, I just choked on nothing. Her tone of voice is just disrespectful, aggressive towards the person that she wronged. And I understand that Sierra is coming at her in these clips as well. So I guess you could be like, she's on the defense, but it doesn't sound that way. In my opinion, it sounds more like she's on the offense. And it also sounds like she feels sorry for herself. She sounds like one of those people who's annoyed that they got caught. Like she's like one of those guys that like you catch your boyfriend cheating. Let's just say you are dating a really terrible guy and you catch your boyfriend cheating and then he is mad at you because you like looked at his texts and he's mad at you because maybe you decide to like stay with him and forgive him and he's mad at you because you're not over it yet. Like, that's what she sounds like. She sounds like, I'm annoyed that you guys are even upset about this and just get over it. So it does not come across well for Mandy. So yeah, so I am, again, I'm glad about the leaks. And like, I'm sorry, Andy, but like, I don't know what you want us to do about it. The internet's going to internet. That's what I'm going to say. Okay. The same thing I said to Amanda and Wes when they're, trying to get us to all be concerned about their damn mental health. The internet's going to internet. So figure it out. That's it. Okay. Now, people have also responded to these leaks in other ways, including Bravo and Cocktails, who made a comment saying West explicitly asked that any criticism or heat be directed at him rather than Amanda on his podcast. West then proceeded to sit silent, and all 3 audio clips leaked with a clown emoji. Yeah, that's something that everybody's been pointing out. It's like, you come on this podcast and you're like, oh, directed at me, poor Amanda, blah, blah, blah. But then when we actually go to the reunion, he's like crickets. Okay. And I am aware, by the way, of the story of his grandmother being murdered. Sorry, this just took a really dark turn. But, that is a definite reason that his family went through this tragedy like literally the day before the reunion, in that his cousin, if you haven't heard this, it's crazy, but his cousin murdered his grandmother. Okay. Which is insanity. Okay. So that could be part of it 100%. So I will give grace for that. Absolutely. All that being said, West does have a history of doing that at reunions. So I don't necessarily think it is because of that. Like, do I think that's something that was on his mind and upsetting him? Of course, who you have to be like, abnormal or not human to not be affected by that. So I think that could be part of it, but I think he would have been like that anyways, if I'm going to be honest. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about that news story because, in my opinion, it's not related to this at all. Like, it has no bearing on this situation. So it's like, okay, I don't want to speak on it. It's a real life tragedy. This is like petty, at the end of the day, this is like, it is drama. It is something that matters to someone, real people were actually hurt by this, but this has nothing to do with that. And quite frankly, it annoys me that story was even made public. Like, to me, that's like a private family thing that shouldn't even be out there. I'm annoyed that TMZ put it out. I understand that's what they do, but I kind of wish that they hadn't, and I don't know. I just think it would be better for West and his whole family if that story wasn't public. And, the really, really, really cynical part of me wonders if West can't put it out. Like, and I know that's like I might get some pushback about even saying that, but, I could see putting that out just so that people will lay off him a little bit, because he's going through it. And that doesn't mean, I'm not saying he's not really going through it, but like, you could be like, hey, everyone, I'm going through some shit. Can you fuck off with like the hate messages and stuff? Like, I could see that. Just like, that's like a human thing. And again, that's not like a criticism of him in that situation, but I wouldn't be completely shocked by that. Okay. So anyways, Bravo and Cocktails put that comment up about, West not defending Amanda. And then Kyle responded and said he's all PR and zero intention or integrity. The reunion was a brutal beatdown, and I can't recall a moment when he had Amanda's back. Yeah, here's the thing. Like, Kyle, for all his faults, Kyle had Amanda's back. When the house was like slightly unwelcoming, like, I'm not even going to say that they were mean to her because they actually weren't. Like, there's so many examples if you go back to the season when Amanda was first on and not just like a side booty call, whatever, where they were actually nice to her, including Lindsay. Like, there's specific examples. Okay. So it's like, it's like, okay, Lindsay cropped her out of the picture. Was that a bit mean? Yeah, it was. But that being said, did it warrant like a 17-page email? Probably not, but I'm sure there's other stuff, whatever. But I don't know what the hell Kyle talked about for 17 pages. But listen, Kyle sent this email, and that is something that Kyle would always do. He always had her back when it came to like the friendship group and stuff like that. So, you can't expect that from a guy who's not into you in a serious way. And that's the thing that I think Amanda forgets. Like, she might be looking at West as like a serious partner and like think that this is some love story, but you're just like another girl on the roster. That's the truth. And he's not going to stand like, 10 toes down or whatever the kids say on the internet. He's not going to do that for you. Like, if anything, he's probably looking for a way to get out of this relationship. Like, that's what I think is happening. Um, so yeah, it's just, yeah, it's sad. It's sad. Not that I feel bad for Amanda, but it's just, it's sad in like a pathetic way for Amanda, I guess. And meanwhile, while all this is going on, Sierra is thriving as usual. She is going to be on the red carpet for the Met Gala, which is coming up soon, which I'm very excited about. I always watch the Met Gala, love it. So Sierra is going to be live for entertainment, for Entertainment Television, which is really cool. And she actually made a little comment on social media. She's been pretty quiet. Like, she hasn't been like posting a lot of snarky stuff, and like, she's not like going full like Lindsay or anything. But somebody posted that scene from Euphoria where the girl is like, you just, what's her name? She's like a big actress now. Why can't I remember her name? Oh my God. Her picture's right in front of my face. This is my other perimenopause moment. Okay. Anyways, she's like, I've never ever been happier, and I am in love with Nate or whatever. I don't watch Euphoria, so I don't know. But then somebody wrote on that like Amanda at the Summer House reunion, and then Sierra replied with I ... and then the eyeball, like the wide eyes emoji. So just throwing a little shade in there, and we love that. Now, other social media stuff to cover for Summer House is that Lindsay is clearing up the whole like Dara dating KJ for fame. Okay, because there's been kind of like these implied, I don't know, like statements and stuff from Bailey and Levi about Dara just dating KJ for fame. And people are kind of like turning on them for that and talking about how like they don't like that, etc. Myself included, by the way. I think like leave Dara alone. Like, I don't think she's done anything wrong. I think she came to a house. She was interested in a couple of the guys. Did she want to get on Summer House? Probably. But you can want to get on Summer House and then also end up meeting someone and falling in love. That is actually possible. Like, it's not like insane. Like, she happened to come in and her and KJ connected, right? And you can tell that they have chemistry. Like, anyways. And then people are like, I don't like the way she talks to him. And I'm like, she talks to him wonderfully. She's supportive of him. She's funny and snarky with him. He's like, and can we stop like infantilizing him? Like, he's not a 5-year-old. Like, he's a 28-year-old man. And yes, I know he's really pushing that storyline of like, I'm a lover boy or whatever. But like, at the end of the day, like, he likes her, she likes him. They're 28 and 33-year-old adults. They can figure their own shit out. They clearly love each other. If you watch the Watch What Happens Live that he was on, where she was in the audience, it's so clear that these two love each other. And everyone just needs to fuck off, in my opinion, with that, because they're a good couple. And I think people are being so unnecessarily critical of her and Sabrina, by the way. But that's a rant for another day. So then Lindsay commented, because people were kind of being like, well, Lindsay started it, da da da. And then Lindsay posted to clarify something and said, you guys, the question that I answered was never, is Dara dating KJ for fame? The original question was separated out during a game of Hot Wings, and all media keeps mashing it together. Pay attention. She's like Danielle from Real Housewives of New Jersey. Pay attention, please. And then she's like, go find the original interview and find my split-second answer, and then stop combining it together into one. I also addressed this on the reunion and why I answered two separate questions that way. You know what? I'm glad Lindsay said that, because I think she was seeing that, the hate was getting kind of like out of control, which it was. And I get people like KJ and stuff, but like, they are the most normal, well-adjusted couple that we've seen on Summer House in a long time. Like, literally, the cast thanked them for like not making their relationship everyone else's problem. Like, and I've met couples like them. I've seen couples like them where two people meet and it's easy and they just fall into it. And yeah, it gets serious fast. but you just were lucky to find a person that you really vibe with. And that does happen for people. It does. Like that was me and my husband. Like we vibed right away and it was like, it wasn't like, some big drama. Okay. So that was one thing. And then KJ wrote, last time I checked, my girlfriend was famous before we met. Okay, so he's referencing the fact that she had an influencer career already and she had a big following, bigger following than him, which she still does on social media. Now, that being said, the fame of being on a TV show is not, it's not like apples to apples in terms of like a fame following, not fan following on a show. It is a little different. So I do want to point that out. Okay. But I understand what he's saying. Like he's saying like, basically shut up. He's like, shut up, leave my girlfriend alone. We're happy. We're a good couple. We don't need this. And here's my opinion. And I posted this in response to KJ's thread because he posted that on Threads. This is what I think. Okay. Bailey and Levi, because Bailey and Levi are sort of adding to this narrative. I can't remember where Bailey said it, but she did. Okay. And then Levi was at the virtual reality, reality something thing where they have a bunch of people from Bravo sit down and answer questions. And basically she strongly implies that Dara is, in it for fame. Here's what I think. I think that neither of them really care that much. I think that Bailey and Levi are besties. Bailey has done well this season and it's clear she's going to be asked back. And I think Levi has already been fired before the season's even over and basically replaced by Dara. And one of the reasons is because Dara happened to, fall in love with a guy on the show and they're a couple. And that is how this show goes. I'm sorry. Like that is kind of it. And Levi's just been kind of like a non-entity, right? And I think that Bailey and Levi are sort of jealous. And I think they're kind of blaming Dara for the fact that Levi was edited out and is not getting screen time, etc. And now I think, Levi's throwing out a Hail Mary to try and save her spot on the show. She knows she's on the chopping block, even though surprisingly she was asked to the reunion, but she knows she's on the chopping block. So she's trying to secure a spot for next season. And this is the way she's going to do it, is by having a beef with Dara. But it's not going to work. You've already been fired. I'm sorry. Like, you're not. The fact that she's even being interviewed on virtual reality is crazy. I think the only reason she's even being interviewed or anyone's even paying attention to anything she's saying is because of the whole West Amanda thing, because this scandal has become so big that anyone who could possibly have seen or been part of anything needs to be kept around for questioning. Like if this whole drama hadn't happened this season, I don't think we'd be hearing from Levi at all in interviews, etc. And listen, I don't have anything against Levi or Bailey, but I think this is kind of a dick move. And I think this is a red flag, okay, in terms of like who they are as people. I'm noting it and I don't forget, okay, just like I don't forget things when it came to Amanda. And over time, I think I built up a fair assessment of her. And I'm going to do the same thing now, okay? And again, that doesn't mean I'm writing off Bailey or writing off Levi or anything, but like I'm watching you. That's all I'm saying. Noted. Check. Okay. I'm not going to lie. I've been needing new glasses for a while now. I got glasses when I turned 40 and now I'm 42 and I have the same pair and they have a chip on the paint on the frame. Plus, I'm very over the style that I chose. And, I've been wearing them for a while because going to get new ones, it just takes so long and it's like a whole production. And I just don't have time to like schedule the appointment, wait forever. And it's so expensive. I paid over $300 last time just to get a frame that I like. So I'm really glad I discovered Zenni. It's an online eyewear shop. Prescription glasses, sunglasses, blue light glasses, starting at under $30. You go to zenni.com, pick a frame, upload your prescription, and they ship it to your door. No appointment, no store, no like upsell at the counter. My favorite part is their virtual try on. Not gonna lie, I had the best time trying on so many styles in the comfort of my own home without anyone pressuring me or trying to upsell me. And I love my new glasses. They're good quality. They look exactly like the virtual try on. And finally, I have a cool updated aviator style that I've been wanting for a while. If your glasses are overdue for a refresh, now is the time. Go to zenni.com/podcast and use code podcast15 for 15% off your first order. The styles sell out, so don't sit on it. That's zenni.com/podcast. Promo code podcast15. For the longest time, my front porch was a tragedy. I had a wreath with the greenery falling off, nowhere to sit on nice days, and a doormat that was faded and way too small for the space. But thanks to Wayfair, my front porch looks so beautiful for spring and summer, and I was able to find exactly what I needed to match my vibe. The exterior of my home is kind of modern farmhouse, so I needed to find decor that would complement that style. And although Wayfair has like thousands of items, they make it really easy to find what you need. So I was able to narrow down by the style, price, size, and even colors for everything I wanted. I wanted to get a lavender wreath, 26 inches. I just used the filters and no problem. I found one that is perfect. And I love that I could get everything I needed for my front patio in one place, like a chair, my new wreath, front doormat. I got lanterns and a decorative watering can, and it all just looks exactly how I envisioned it. So get prepped for patio season for way less. Head to wayfair.com right now to shop all things home. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair. Every style, every home.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
So I'm happy that a lot of people, though, on social media have turned the corner and are now defending Sabrina and Dara because I think they're getting a lot of hate. And I think this fandom is always the worst when it comes to women of color. And I think this fandom has been extremely toxic towards South Asian cast members, particularly if we think about Imrul and now Sabrina, who have done the smallest of slights and are being treated like they're West and Amanda. Or were treated. You know, there was a lot of coded language used against Imrul. In my opinion, he was called dirty and disgusting and all these other things. At the end of the day, what Imrul was doing, which was sleeping with women who wanted to sleep with him, who gave consent, and then he respectfully did not show their faces, etc. if they didn't want to, there was nothing wrong with that. That was two consenting adults. And in actuality, the person who did something terrible was what Wes did to Sierra. And the whole fandom was ready to welcome him back in with loving arms the second he started saying a couple cute things and playing his little, like, I'm just a little baby who doesn't know any better. And everybody was like, oh my God, I ship Wes and Sierra. Quite frankly, this fandom needs to start having longer memories, like, especially when it comes to white cast members, particularly. You know, people were really criticizing Lindsay this week for being not like as forgiving with Carl and his mom and still being petty, which fine. Would I have said those things? No. Did I think it was needed or necessary? No. But that being said, I think a lot of us could use a little bit more of Lindsay's pettiness and unforgivingness. It's okay to remember what people did to you and to move cautiously. Again, do you have to go maybe to like Lindsay's extreme? No, but that's who Lindsay is. And I'm not trying to change her. No one, and you gotta, if you're gonna love Lindsay, you gotta love all of her, the bad and good. Okay. But what I will say is that like, maybe it's time to stop forgetting the way that people acted just like last season. Like I was always like, why are we cheering on West and Sierra again? And everybody would be if this whole Amanda thing hadn't happened. This man was a toxic creep. He treated her terribly. You know, let's not forget that. And that's my issue always, is that like, I feel like, you know, and then you have people like Sabrina or Imrul who have like, again, like these tiny little faults, to get back to my original point. And they are like being crucified. Oh my God, she wears chokers. Oh my God, look at those boots she's wearing. Oh my God, this. Oh my God, ew, Imrul's dirty. I saw somebody on Thread saying that Sabrina makes them uncomfortable. Like, what? Like, people need to check their biases right away. And also, it is clear that many of you have not been friends with a quirky alternative girl, and it shows. She's hilarious. Is she a little crazy, maybe? Yeah. Is it fantastic? Also, yes. Like, I love her, and I think people need to just shut up and leave her alone. Like, she hasn't done anything wrong. Is she thirsty to be on the show? Yeah, who cares? They all are. Bailey is just as thirsty as she is. She's so thirsty, she's pretending she's interested in Carl when clearly she's not. Okay. But again, she gets so much more leeway because she's like blonde and okay. Anyways, I'm done. That's my rant for the day. Okay. Let's talk about Lindsay and Bailey on Watch What Happens Live. So Andy asked Lindsay about the whole, like, Wes posting that picture of him and Sierra visiting Gemma on social media, right? And how that was kind of like a decoy. And Lindsay says, yeah, I was pissed because West used my child as clickbait to distract from the rumors. And Andy's like, oh, yeah, she told him at the reunion. And she's like, oh, I told him. This is why I love Lindsay as a reality star, because, okay, he didn't use your, and I'm not defending Wes, by the way, but like, he didn't use your child, quote unquote, as clickbait. He made sure he posted a picture of himself hanging out with Sierra so that people wouldn't think it was true. Because then people would be like, oh, well, Sierra wouldn't be hanging out with him if he was hooking up with Amanda right now. So it's not true, right? Her child happened to be at that gathering, right? But I just love how Lindsay spins it. He's using my child for clickbait. Like, this is why she's the best. Okay, she's the best at what she does. She knows how to do it. She knows how to like make it sound the most dramatic. I just love it. Okay. And then Andy says that if you're wondering if Lindsay was activated at the reunion, she absolutely was. I can't wait. Okay. So then they asked Bailey if she's spoken to Amanda. So Bailey says she doesn't. She has, like, they've exchanged like a text or a voice text or something at like, I guess when all of this kind of started to explode or after the announcements were made. And she doesn't, she said, it's hard because she doesn't know what's true and what's not. So I was kind of like, does that mean that Amanda is trying to say, like, in her text to Bailey that, like, I wasn't with him, like, in the summer? Like, that's probably what it is. Again, I don't believe that, but she doesn't tell us exactly what she's referring to. So then she said they texted a bit, but she said she just wanted to check in with her because her mental health matters. And then she adds quickly, I checked in on Sierra's too. And I was like, okay. But has had no contact with West. So Amanda and Bailey also said that, oh, not Amanda, sorry. Lindsay and Bailey say that they don't think Amanda and West will last, which, like, duh. And Lindsay says that she's still trying to figure out why Amanda would pursue this. Okay. I think that was a nice kind of thing for Lindsay to say, because, she's asked that. Like, Andy's like, do you think it will last? And then Andy asks, like, why do you think Amanda would even pursue this? And then Lindsay's like, I'm still trying to figure that out. And I'm like, I think Lindsay knows, because Amanda's a pick me, because Amanda is male centered. Like, Lindsay knows all that, but like, she's being a little nice by not saying that. But that's the reason. We all know. Okay. So then the other thing is that Bailey was there on February 28th for the brunch. So this comes up on Watch What Happens Live, for the brunch where Amanda kissed Kyle, which is so crazy. And they know the date of it because of Jesse Solomon. She says it wasn't just a peck. It was like a heavy kiss. Like, she grabbed his face and pulled him in, and it was like a makeout. And then she says that she was like, what the fuck? And she said that to West. And then West replied and said, just let them do their thing. And Bailey's like, which I'm like, why would he say that? And then Lindsay's like, wow, imagine using your husband as a decoy for your boyfriend. Wild. And everyone's like, ah. And that's kind of the line that's like taken off across social media, of course, because, Lindsay never misses. And that's exactly what she was doing. She can't just do like a little peck. That's not going to throw people off the scent. Right. And that is exactly what she was doing. And guess what? The reason West didn't care is because he doesn't care. Okay? He doesn't care about you, Amanda. You're a hookup just like all his other hookups. And he probably doesn't care if his hookups are hooking up with other people. right? He's probably like, happier if you're like just hooking up with him, right? He probably prefers that. But at the end of the day, like he's not like looking at you like this is my wife. Okay. He's not looking at anyone that way. Like, that's why I was always so annoyed when everybody was like, how can he not want to just, marry Sierra and settle down with her? She's so beautiful. Da da da. It doesn't matter. It could be like Halle Berry. Like, it doesn't matter how beautiful the woman is or how great of a person they are or their heart or their personality. West is not looking to settle down with anybody. Okay. He's like, it's quantity, not quality. Okay. He just wants to hook up with as many girls as he can and take advantage of his fame and notoriety while it lasts. And he's a tried and true fuckboy, and that's it. Okay. Um, so Lindsay also says that she doesn't think that Jesse knew anything because her and Jesse actually went out to dinner after they did this whole like Hey You promotion thing in Toronto for Summer House. And basically he even said to her at the dinner, like, don't you think this is weird? Like, do you think anything's going on between them? Because I guess he was referring to like stuff that was being said on the internet. And I guess there was a couple weird incidences. So he asked Lindsay and he was like, don't you think it's weird? And so Lindsay's like, I really don't think he knew. Like this wasn't like acting. This was like him and I, and he legit sounded like he was questioning it. Yes, but not like he knew anything. And then Andy's like, well, what did you say? And Lindsay's like, I was like, absolutely not. She's like, there's no way it's true. So Lindsay's like, even at this point, like I did not believe anything. But yeah, and she's like, again, like there's no way to know. But listen, I've always been in the camp from the jump that Jesse doesn't know. I know everyone wants him to be like the Schwartz, but I actually think, and I've said this from the start, and I'll say it again, I think West and Jesse low-key don't like each other. I think they're competitive with each other. And I think that's why West was pissed when he was trying to like say he was going to make out with Sierra. Not because West cares about Sierra, it's because it's a competition. Like I think it's a fame, who has the most followers, who's the most popular with the audience. I think it's all of that. And I actually think they don't like each other that much. So I don't think that West would tell Jesse. And I think that West is smart enough to know that Jesse is a big ass blabbermouth. And if he knew, the whole world would know, because we've seen like Jesse is a big blabbermouth. Okay. So Lindsay then says, oh, sorry. Oh, no, it is Lindsay. Okay. So Lindsay said she's very disappointed, like looking back on their filming of the new show In the City, which by the way premieres in a couple weeks, because her and Amanda, she said, really had each other's backs during In the City and that they were like best friends during filming. They got really close. And she says she's just very, very disappointed. Oof, that hurts, Amanda. Really hurts when you get I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. It's never good. Bailey says that she does. This is kind of on another topic, by the way. Bailey says that she does think Ben had a secret girlfriend the whole time and but she says she loves Sabrina. And she says that like 9 times, by the way. And she says she thinks that's why he got so mad about the Amanda joke. Well, yeah. Listen, I think everybody at this point has accepted that Ben was always dating Sabrina. And there's 2 possibilities here. They were in a full-on relationship and everything that Ben said on Summer House, I was going to say In the City, is a lie. And they were full boyfriend and girlfriend. The other possibility is that they were dating and seeing each other, but they hadn't made it official and he hadn't said, I love you yet. And then he came into the Summer House, was kind of like gonna see if there was anyone he liked there before committing to Sabrina, realized that there wasn't, and that he wants Sabrina to be his girlfriend and asked her to be his girlfriend, and now they're together. Neither of those are like so nefarious that I'm that concerned about them. And like to me, I'm like, we've got bigger fish to fry in the Summer House world. Like these 2 are like the least of my problems. And like I just don't think it's that big of a deal. Like I just really don't. The point of the ending in this instance, this is one of those rare instances where the ends justify the means. They're together. They actually seem happy. I think they seem like a good couple. He's so serious and uptight about everything. She's so like, I don't know, like quirky and she just says things that like embarrass him. And I think that's kind of good for him. I think they're actually a good match. Will it last? I don't know. But listen, I don't mind them. Okay. And I think Ben is just a direct person. And I think a lot of people are very uncomfortable with that because we're all used to like more. I think a lot of us are conflict avoidant. We're more used to like passive aggressiveness and, people like Amanda and West who will avoid conflict and then talk shit behind your back. Like, I think Ben just like is a very direct, like, let me kind of deal with things head on. And I think that makes a lot of people very uncomfortable, but I don't necessarily think it means he's a bad person. So that's my take. Okay. So in the city, by the way, which launches in a couple of weeks, we will see in the first episode that there's a new scene that they shot with a couple of the cast members. So they did pick it up there, but they just felt like, I guess the reason they picked up again is because they felt like it was wrong to just go into In the City without acknowledging any of this other stuff. So you can expect that there is going to be some talk about that when the new season starts. Okay. So that is, I think, everything for Summer House. Okay, not too bad. 45 minutes in. So why don't we go to some Real Housewives of Beverly Hills news for our last 15 of this episode, and then I'll do the rest on the next one. Actually, we'll see. We'll see how long this one takes. So Crystal says that she ran in on her podcast with Cynthia Bailey. She says that she ran into Kyle, who told her that she felt it's so weird that now I'm on this show and the topic is Kyle and Amanda again. It's just so funny that we have all these Kyle and Amandas in Bravo. That she ran into Kyle, who told her she felt really bad for Amanda. Kyle also said she tried to protect Amanda, but felt that everyone was so mean to her. Okay. Now, do I think that the cast was mean to Amanda? Yes. Do I think that they are so weird about Amanda? Yes. Is Amanda also really annoying? Also, yes. But all those things can be true at the same time. I also think that I'm not going to go to the extreme that some people have, like they were bullying Amanda. I don't know about that. I think that might be taking it too far. Do I think that they're absolutely weird about her? Yes, I do. Because like, does she have this business that's a little woo woo and like maybe taking advantage of people a little bit? Yeah. But I mean, again, I could make that argument for a lot of businesses. And there's a lot of like, how many of these have we seen on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills? Like, how many, like, pet psychic, like all these like different, like there are a lot of those types of businesses out there. Now, again, I don't know about the intricacies of Amanda's business and maybe the amount of money she's charging and stuff, but I think like you ask her about it, she answered it towards the beginning of the season. In my opinion, she explained it. What else are you going to do? Like, I don't know what else there is to say. And then they keep like harping on it, ChatGPT, all this other stuff. It's like, okay, like you're just, beating a dead horse at this point. And I just think it was just became pointless and boring. And it did just start to feel like, let's pick on the new girl. Like, we have nothing else going on this season. She's like low hanging fruit. She's easy to poke at because like she's kind of a nitwit. So let's just do it. And then I think that's why the audience has actually become kind of defensive of Amanda, ironically, by the end of the season, because it's like, okay, guys, like we know she's like a bit weird and like she's a little like her business might be a little sketchy, but like just like leave the girl alone. Like she's not like doing anything like so terrible. Like she's not doing anything like what Erica Jane and her husband did was 1,000 gajillion times worse. Like for Erica to even speak on it is insane. So it's just like, and I'm sorry, but I've always gotten scammy vibes from Dorit too. So I'm just kind of like, who are you guys to talk? Like, and I'm sorry, and now Rachel Zoe has lost her right to talk too, because now she's dating a guy who does the same thing. And his sounds even more like crazy to me. Like when she gave that explanation at part 1 of the reunion, I was like, what are you even saying? So I'm sorry, but like, and isn't that like part of like LA culture? Like stuff like manifesting and like, I don't know. Isn't that like part of like what people do down there? I don't know. Okay. Now I sound like the ladies of London criticizing Margot. Okay. Let's go to what else from Beverly Hills. So the other thing is that Teddy and Tamra on their podcast were talking about PK's interview. So if you didn't know, PK did this whole interview recently. And I'm not going to like cover the interview because honestly, he didn't really say anything new or groundbreaking, in my opinion. It was just kind of like one of the things I guess was sort of like, oh, well, I, decided to push her to go on the show. And he kind of makes it out like him and her, they applied together. Like it really does align with what Dorit said about like PK loving the spotlight and the camera, and like he was like, oh, there's no one more like glamorous and interesting than my wife. So like, let me get her on this show. And he basically takes credit for getting her on the show, which I don't know, maybe he does deserve credit for that because he was friends with Lisa Vanderpump and Ken. And, he, as much as like I think he over exaggerates himself to a point, I also think he is connected in the entertainment world to a degree. Right. And it's not like we're talking about getting Dorit into like, a movie alongside like an A-list actor or something. He got her on a reality show. Like it's not that crazy. So Teddy and then he talks about how she changed and how a lot of the stuff on the show is made up for storylines and that wasn't real and stuff like that. And then Teddy and Tamara are like, what is he doing? Like, why is he doing this interview? It's crazy. Why would he say these things? And then they start talking about how like, why would he say stuff about like things on the show not being true? And they're like, what's he talking about? And then they start naming everything that Dorit has had as a storyline. They're like, is he talking about like the burglary and when she was like crying and hugged Mauricio? Is he talking about Buco de Beppa? Is he talking about Beverly Beach? Is he talking about, and they list like everything that she's done, the wedding dresses, etc. Right? Like kind of like trying to imply that everything Dorit had on the show was fake. So then Dorit responded and said, sad to see someone who once called me a friend go this low. And then someone else responded just on the post in general and said, not loving this hate on Dorit Fest. And shame on you, Teddy, for mentioning her plastic surgery like that and the Mo hug. Oh, yeah, because they said, oh, is he talking about Dorit's face? Because, I mean, Dorit's face has really changed. Okay. It's just so annoying coming from Teddy because these girls were once all their own like girl group, like their Fox Force 5, and they were so like annoying with LVP. And I'm not saying LVP was perfect, but like they so did bully LVP off the show. I don't care. I'll die on that hill. But they were like, when LVP made that joke about Dorit having a head transplant, like they acted like that was like the worst, which it was mean. But now it's so funny how now that they don't like Dorit, they will do all those same things. It just shows like they never gave a shit about really each other. It was more of a like gang up mentality, right? Like we'll form an alliance to control the show and to get people off and on the show that we like and don't like. That's what it always was. And that's what the audience always said. And they just keep proving it every day. And I love that their own little group is now fractured and they're all turning on each other. And like, that's why I can't feel that bad for Dorit. Is she right in her position against Kyle? Yes. But like, someone on my like Beverly Hills roundup was like, oh, is this a Dorit fan account? And I responded and I was like, and I don't usually, but I was like, it was one of the first comments and I did see it. So I was like, no, I actually can't stand Dorit. And I have always like, I can't stand any of the Fox Force 5 women. They're my least favorite housewives in probably the whole Housewives universe. And I said, listen, I can't stand Dorit. She's terrible. But just because I can't stand her doesn't mean she's wrong in this situation. In the situation with Kyle, she's right. Is she still obnoxious? Yes. Does she kind of deserve it a little bit? Probably also yes. Because she took part in taking down people and she was an asshole and part of that little clique. So quite frankly, I can't feel that bad for her. And if she gets fired, I'm okay with it. That being said, I also want Kyle and Erica off the show too, because they are driving me crazy too. And I can't stand them also. That's why Beverly Hills has been not that enjoyable for me this season, because I don't like either side. And this is kind of the main fight of the season. And they're all annoying. So yeah. Okay. So anyways, somebody was like, not liking this, not loving this hate on Dorit Fest, and shame on you, Teddy, for mentioning her plastic surgery like that and the Mo hug. And then Dorit replied and said, what makes it even more disappointing is that she knows the truth and chose to say it anyways. That applies for both my face and the group hug, which was nothing more than an innocent moment shared among close family friends after a deeply tragic event. Okay. So then Teddy has responded because Teddy's been getting a lot of hate about this. So Teddy responded and was basically like, you know, she responded to the comment where Dorit said, sad to see someone who once called me a friend go this low. And then Teddy points out that Dorit never reached out to her or visited her in the hospital during her cancer diagnosis. And this is where I start to get really annoyed with Teddy, because it's like, okay, now you're using the cancer diagnosis like to win an argument online, a stupid argument, by the way, with Dorit. It's like, Teddy, it just doesn't look great. Teddy also referenced the 2024 after show where Dorit said they were never that close to begin with. Well, okay, just to be fair, she said someone who once called me a friend go this low. So she didn't say you're friends now. And, that is kind of though Dorit's mistake that she made. She should have never mentioned the word friend and she would have won this. She should have just said, sad to see someone who knows I was truly burglarized try to call that out and say that, and someone who's also been burglarized before and maybe been through and knows how scary that is to point that out. Like, that's what she should have said. Because now she's given Teddy something to pick at, which is like they were never friends. And now everyone's harping on that, which is, in my opinion, we just got off point. The point was actually that you were kind of being a bitch about like serious things that she went through. All that being said, I still think the burglary is questionable. Okay, so in other news, Beverly Hills news, Bose is calling out Andy after he was questioning her at the reunion about her CMO position. So somebody posted on Threads and was like, why is Andy so confused by Bose's statement, re the tenure of a CMO? And then Andy replied and said, because every CMO I've worked with was more of a long-term thing, but what the hell do I know? So then Bose came on and made one of these videos. And although she's right in this case, I need Bose to stop making these like after the fact videos. Like, let's say what we want to say in the moment. And, I guess she did clear it up as best she could. But when I saw the video on my feed, I was like, another one. But this one was actually a bit different because the other two were like, oops, I said something wrong. Was there two or one? Maybe there was only one, so it's okay. I don't even remember. But the point is that she made a video. She calls out Andy and basically is like, why did you make that face, about the CMO thing and she explained it, whatever. And now it's become this whole conversation online. But Andy responded and he's like, you're right. I didn't know. And I've been told, basically, like kind of admitting defeat. Like, I didn't know and I've been corrected. Right. And he commented that on Threads and on Instagram and, and then Bose sent back hearts and like, clearly they're fine. But I do just want to say one thing about this. I don't know anything about these roles. Her like tenure or having a whole bunch of things on her resume, that is something that people have talked about, called out, etc. Again, I don't know anything about the corporate world, so I don't know what's normal and what's not. Now, I would think Andy would know more about it. But that being said, I think Andy asked the question, and I'm not one who's like usually, like if Andy asks a shady question, he asks a shady question. That's what he does. So like, I didn't like think it was that big of a deal. Did he make a face? Yes. But I also think that the only reason that he even asked it is like, we have to consider the context, because some people are mad at Andy for asking. I'm like, but at the same time, I think the reason he asked it is because Amanda's getting so picked apart about her career, which again, she's explained many times, and she's getting so picked apart. And I think a lot of fans were like, well, if you look up your thing on ChatGPT, it says stuff about your tenure. So, we could question that too, to be fair. Right. So I think Andy was kind of like, well, okay, I guess I'll have to, ask the question back so it's fair for both sides. You know what I mean? Like, that was kind of how I took it. Now, I understand it's a little different because Bose is a Black woman and like you're questioning like her experience and her resume. I totally get all of that. But I am just saying we should consider the context. And I do think that it would not have been brought up in the first place if, if this cast wasn't being so annoying and harping on this Amanda's business thing. Like if Bose had never done the ChatGPT thing or Erica or whoever did it, we wouldn't even be talking about this. No one would even be asking Bose about tenure in the first place. The only reason they're asking is because this cast is just trying to make something happen on this boring ass show. That is the bottom line. Okay. And that is the problem that we need to resolve with hopefully the firing of most of them. Okay. So, anyways, so Andy and Bose are still friends and everything is fine. Not to worry. Everything is fine in, Beverly Hills Bravo land. Well, ish. So let's go to one last thing before I end this part of the pod, before part 2, which is going to be the RHOC cast trip to Japan. Now, I don't have any tea or any inside information about it, but I am here to say that I think it's a wild choice that they decided to go to Japan after, firing the only Asian woman on the cast, first of all, after how she was treated last season, second of all, and yes, I know she's not Japanese, but it's just the principle. And Katie Janella has actually called this out on her Instagram, and I fully agree with her. So here's what she said.
Here's overreacting because I just found out that the Real Housewives of Orange County confirmed that they went to Japan on their cast trip. And I can't for the life of me figure out why they would go to a country when they have zero respect for Asian culture. Most of them model. When I brought up Asian culture, I was met with comments like, nobody cares about race but you, and other comments that weren't funny to me and they weren't a joke. Making fun of the foods and the meats at Hot Pot, a culture that they obviously don't know anything about that I was introducing them to. And yet everything was a joke to them. When I said that I wanted to highlight Asian designers and use this platform for good, I was told that it wasn't enough. Anytime I wasn't wearing an Asian designer, that was a big problem. I shared the story of my adoption with them and how I wanted to go to Korea, possibly with them, to highlight Asian, especially Korean culture. So finding out that they took the cast to Japan on their cast trip, it stung. It broke me. It made me cry. And it's not because I need to be there or need to be with those ladies. It's because of what that trip represents. I deserved respect. I deserved inclusion. I deserved a place there. And every minority does, especially now when they're being targeted in our country. Being fired was not fun. It was hard because it was something I didn't choose. But I'm moving on, bigger and better, and my life is so much more peaceful. But seeing this news really devastated me.
I mean, I agree with her 100%. And I wanted to play the recording so you can hear it kind of from Katie's point of view. I think the examples she used are perfect. She's absolutely right. And I guarantee you that those women are over there right now saying and doing offensive things. Like I can guarantee it. Okay. So, I feel for Katie and you know what else I love about Katie? I love that she admits that she's hurt by being fired. I love that she didn't go down the like Kiarna route where she's like, or other, I mean, I could name a gajillion other people where they're like pretending, that, oh, I chose to step away in my, like, I love that she's like, I was fired and it was terrible and I hated it. Like, thank you. Thank you for saying that. And they need to ask Katie back again. I think they need to, like, the fact that we are still being tortured with Emily and Gina. I can't. I don't like, I'm not even excited for the new season. Am I going to watch it? Probably. Cause like I do this. If I didn't do the podcast and have my like Bravo and Botox account, I honestly right now, I don't know if I'd be watching The Valley and I don't know if I would watch the next season of OC. That's real. I really don't. Okay.